I can't wait to talk to you today about Jacob's encounters. Jacob actually encounters an army of angels. What was that like? But even that encounter with an army of angels didn't sufficiently give him confidence for the next army he encountered. Let's find out about that on today's podcast.
Welcome to Everyday Truth with Kurt Skelly. We believe the Bible is true and relevant to everyone, everywhere, every day. If today's conversation is a help to you, take a moment to leave a review or share it with a friend. Thanks for listening. Now, let's join Kurt for today's episode.
Hello, friends. Welcome back to a brand new chapter on our episode today. We're in chapter 22. Listen to me. Chapter 32 of the book of Genesis, and we're tracing the story of Jacob, and we are heading back to the promised land. So, as you know, Jacob has fled from Laban. Laban has caught up to Jacob. Jacob, no doubt, is in fear for his life. And yet God had superintended the whole thing. God had appeared to Laban. A great agreement was reached. A pillar was erected and a decision was made. And Jacob is confident now that God is providing his needs, that God is protecting him on his path. And yet, again, we're going to see Jacob lapse back into a bit of fear. And don't judge him, because I think if you were facing the same circumstances, it would be very difficult not to fear in this situation. So 20 years after Jacob has left by himself from Isaac, from Rebekah, running really from Esau, and now has wives and children and a whole caravan and livestock and just all kinds of stuff, and he's coming back home. Watch what happens in verse number 1. So Jacob went on his way, and the angels of God met him. Have you ever read that verse? That's kind of an obscure verse in the Bible, unless you just stop and think about it. So Jacob leaves this meeting with Laban and the crew of men that Laban had brought with him. And now Jacob moves on, and the Bible says the angels of God meet him. Now, what must that have been like? He comes in contact with heavenly beings. Now, remember, when Jacob was on his way to Padan Aram, he had stopped in Bethel, and there in a dream, he had seen a ladder going to heaven and the angels coming up and down. But now there's a physical manifestation of heavenly host. I think about Luke chapter 2, when those shepherds were encountered with that heavenly host. So here's Jacob. He's a shepherd, and he's encountering this heavenly host of angels. I think about Gehazi, the servant of Elisha, in 2 Kings chapter 6, when they were at the city of Dothan, and the Syrian army had surrounded the city. And the servant of Elisha was so upset, so afraid. We're surrounded. What are we going to do? And remember what Elisha said. Elisha said, Lord, open his eyes. And when God opened his vision, the servant of Elisha saw that there was a heavenly host surrounding the army of Syria. So, wow, the reality of the unseen angelic world. The Bible says in Hebrews chapter 13 that we sometimes entertain angels unaware. There may be, probably is true, that you have in your own life encountered heavenly beings. You just didn't know in that encounter that it was an angel. And wow, what a thought to think that there are sometimes physical manifestations of this unseen world that's all around us. We wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. Look at verse number 2. And when Jacob saw them, so he physically sees this host, this army of angels. Now, why would God do that? I think what God is showing Jacob is, Jacob, you have a ragtag group that could have been outmanned, outgunned by Laban had I not protected you. But Jacob, I am protecting you. and all of heaven is at your disposal, and all of my resources are at your disposal. And you need not fear because you have heaven on your side. And I feel that that's the message that God sends us today. Remember Jesus in the Garden of Gethsemane, an angel came and ministered unto him. We've seen that song. He could have called 12 legions of angels. Remember, he could have called 10,000 angels is the lyrics to the song, are the lyrics to the song. But Jesus said, don't you know I could have asked my Father to send me, and he would have? So, but and he didn't, by the way. He had them at his prerogative, at his beck and call. What's the point? The point here is that Jacob is protected, and we are protected as we walk in the will of God. It's not to say that God always brings us to places of safety. Sometimes it's God's will that a person goes through suffering or even martyrdom, as we have learned in recent days. But the point here is that God provides protection. And Jacob saw them. He said, this is God's host. This is the army of God. And he called the name of that place Mahanaim. Mahanaim. Mahan means camp, and Aim is a plural ending, a double ending. So Mahanaim means two camps. So I think what Jacob meant there was we have a camp, we have a group, and God has a group. And when we put our group with God's group, there's strength. It's Mahanaim. And I would say, that's a good prayer promise for you. You might feel like, well, we're just a small family, or we're just a struggling church, or we're just a small band of brothers. Yeah, but with God's host, with his camp, we are strong. It's Mahanaim. And I find great solace in these two verses. Verse 3, and Jacob sent messengers before him to Esau, his brother, unto the land of Seir, the country of Edom. So what has happened? Esau has now relocated. He's no longer living with dad, but he's living down in Edom, named for him. Remember, Edom means red. Esau would forever be known by the red soup that he chose in selling his birthright. That's kind of sad. But remember, the fear that Jacob had that initially caused him to leave was a fear of retribution from Esau. Well, now he's coming back into Esau's vicinity, and he's afraid. So he kind of wants to he wants to palliate the anger and pacify the anger of Esau. Now, what had God just showed Jacob? His heavenly host. So Jacob had no reason to fear. God had already preempted this visit from Esau with the knowledge that the heavenly host was there available and protecting Jacob. But Jacob still fears. And it says in verse 3 that he sent messengers. Verse number 4, and he commanded them, saying, thus shalt thou speak unto my lord Esau. Thy servant Jacob saith thus, I have sojourned with Laban, and stayed there until now. I have oxen, donkeys, flocks, men servants, women servants. I have sent to tell my Lord that I may find grace in thy sight. Hey, go tell my brother that I'm home. I left, and I've been with Laban all this time. I left with nothing, but God's blessed me, and I have much now. And the messengers returned to Jacob, saying, we came to thy brother Esau, and also he cometh to meet thee. Yeah, we went and told Esau, and Esau's coming to see you. Oh my. That might sound ominous, but it sounds even more ominous when they add this detail, and 400 men with him. That sounds like a militia to me. That sounds like Esau is readying himself for battle. So all of the imagined fears of Jacob are now dancing around in his head. Because, think about it. Esau was done wrong. Jacob cheated Esau. Now, certainly Esau disesteemed the birthright, and Esau had made some bad decisions, and he certainly didn't respond correctly. But, Jacob just put this all into perspective, Jacob is saying, wow, he's coming after me. This is what he pledged to do 20 years ago. He has 400 men. You can only imagine the shuddering of fear in Jacob's heart when he hears this message. Verse 7, Jacob was greatly afraid and distressed, and he divided the people that was with him. So remember, he's got this big group. He's got men servants, maid servants, and of course his own family, and the flocks and the herds and the camels. He divided them all into 2 bands. And he said, if Esau come to the one company and smite it, then the other company which is left shall escape. So he's trying to kind of mitigate his losses, to think, well, if Esau attacks all of us in one group, that could be the end of my family. I could be destroyed. So I'll at least divide it into 2 groups so that whichever group gets attacked first, the other group will have a better chance to escape. So what is Jacob doing? Jacob is resorting to human reasoning. Jacob is not trusting the Lord, the same Lord that warned Laban when Laban could have overtaken Jacob but didn't, the same Lord that brought the host of the angels to Jacob, and Jacob said, this is the army of God, Mahanaim, Mahanaim. There we go. Im is the way you say the ending. Mahanaim. That same God, he should be trusting right now, but he's resorting back to fear, a little bit of manipulation, a little bit of scheming, but old habits die hard. And verse number 9, Jacob said, O God of my father Abraham, and God of my father Isaac, the Lord which said to me, return unto thy country, to thy kindred, I will deal well with thee. Watch what Jacob says. And this is a great thing. So yes, Jacob shows a lack of faith. Yes, Jacob is acting in fear. Yes, Jacob is showing a bit of maybe even scheming. That might be a little bit too hard. But what I love about Jacob here is he's coming to God. God, you're my God. You're the God of my dad, the God of my grandpa. You're the God that made me a promise. You're a God that told me it would be well. And watch this, verse number 10, I'm not worthy of the least of all thy mercies, and of all the truth which thou hast showed unto thy servant. For with my staff I passed over this Jordan. Now I'm become 2 bands. God, I'm a nobody. I had nothing. I was all by myself. God, you were there for me. And God, you've kept your promises. And now look at all that I have. Deliver me, I pray thee, from the hand of my brother, from the hand of Esau. For I fear him. God, here's where I'm at. Here's the way I feel. Lord, I'm just being honest with you. Lest he will come and smite me and the mother with the children. And thou saidst, I will surely do thee good, and make thy seed as the sand of the sea, which cannot be numbered for multitude. God, the thing I'm clinging onto, the thing I'm holding onto, the thing that I'm using as my confidence, as my prayer promise, is what you said. Lord, this is what your word said. So I am praying according to your word. I'm praying according to your will. I'm looking to you alone, oh God. That's a great prayer. That's a great foundation for prayer. And we're going to find out next episode how God answers that prayer. But until then, we'll have to just stop for now because of time. We'll come back to verse number 13. Hope you'll join us next time. God bless you, my friends.